You wake up cold, the sun is gone, the wind is cutting through your skin, and somewhere beyond the darkness something is watching. For most people today, fire is a button, a lighter, a stove, a spark that appears almost instantly. But for roughly 300,000 years of human history, and certainly 50,000 years ago, fire was one of the most valuable things your ancestors possessed. It provided warmth, light, protection, cooked food, and a place where stories could be shared after sunset. Without it, survival became dramatically harder. So, what was it actually like to start a fire 50,000 years ago? The answer is far more brutal than most people imagine. Your first problem would not be making the fire, it would be keeping one alive. Many archaeologists believe that for long periods of prehistory, people often carried fire rather than creating it from scratch every day. Creating a new flame could be difficult, time-consuming, and unreliable. A burning branch, glowing coal, or smoldering bundle of plant material was a treasure. Imagine waking before dawn after a cold night. The campfire has almost died. Only a few glowing embers remain beneath a layer of gray ash. Everyone notices, because those tiny orange dots are the difference between comfort and misery. If the embers survive, the fire survives. If they disappear, hours of hard work may follow. Evidence from sites across Africa, Europe, and Asia suggests that controlling fire became a major turning point in human evolution. Researchers such as Richard Wrangham have argued that cooking fundamentally changed the human body by making food easier to digest and allowing more energy to support larger brains. A larger brain came with a price. It needed fuel, fire helped provide it. But none of that mattered if you could not create the flame in the first place. Today, people often imagine rubbing two sticks together for a few seconds and suddenly getting a roaring campfire. Reality was much less forgiving. Your hands would ache, your arms would burn, and your patience would be tested, and failure was common. One technique involved friction. Friction simply means two surfaces rubbing together and generating heat. A wooden spindle could be spun against a wooden baseboard. Tiny particles of wood would collect and gradually heat up. If everything went perfectly, those particles could form a small glowing ember. But everything rarely went perfectly. The wood had to be suitable, the moisture had to be low, the tinder had to be ready, the weather had to cooperate, and you had to keep going long after your muscles wanted to stop. Can you imagine, depending on that process, every time you needed warmth? Even experienced modern survival experts sometimes struggle with friction fire methods. Now imagine doing it after days of hunger. Imagine doing it during freezing weather. Imagine doing it while your children are shivering beside you. Suddenly fire becomes less of a convenience and more of a lifeline. Other groups likely used stone. Certain stones can produce sparks when struck together. Flint is one famous example. When struck against iron-rich minerals such as pyrite, bright sparks can appear. Those sparks are small, but under the right conditions they can ignite dry tinder. Archaeological evidence suggests prehistoric people understood these materials surprisingly well. They knew their landscape. They knew which rocks mattered. They knew which plants burned best. Knowledge itself became a survival tool. At sites such as Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of sophisticated human behavior tens of thousands of years ago. While the cave is famous for engraved artifacts and symbolic activity, it also reminds researchers that these people were far more intelligent and adaptable than old stereotypes suggest. They were not primitive, they were experts living in difficult conditions. Now picture an evening 50,000 years ago. The sky is turning orange, the temperature is dropping, a hunting party returns. Some people carry meat, others carry wood. Children stay close to adults. Everyone understands what comes next. The fire must be prepared, dry grass is gathered, thin twigs are arranged, larger branches wait nearby. Every step matters. If the smallest materials fail to ignite, the larger fuel never catches. This sequence seems obvious today, but it represents generations of accumulated knowledge. Someone taught it, someone practiced it, someone made mistakes so others could learn. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied modern hunter-gatherer communities and documented how evening fires often became centers of storytelling, teaching, and social bonding. Around the flames, people shared information, reinforced traditions, and strengthened relationships. The fire did more than provide heat. It created society, and without the light from those flames, much of human social life would have ended.